consciousness, awareness. Happiness is just kind of moving up this kind of scale of levels of awareness. I'd love to share a little bit from good old Dr. David Hawkins, Power versus Force. So the more levels or angles of perspectives we can see anything, the better choice we have now to choose to see differently, take on a different perspective, see higher. Being able to choose a different perspective gets us unstuck out of where we are currently stuck, frustrated, disappointed at, still feeling sick or whatever. So I'm just going to dive into it. Let's attempt to better understand all of this theory through a concrete example. Imagine a bum on a street corner. In an upscale neighborhood stands an old man in tattered clothes, alone and leaning against the corner of an elegant brownstone. Look at him from the perspective of various levels of consciousness and note the inconsistency in how he appears to different people and different viewpoints. So from the bottom of the scale at level 20, shame, the bum is seen to be dirty, disgusting, and disgraceful. From level 30, so we're looking through the filters of these levels. From level 30, he'd be blamed for his condition. He deserves what he gets. He's probably a lazy welfare cheat. At 50, hopelessness, his plight would appear desperate, a damning piece of evidence to prove that society can't do anything about homelessness. At 75, grief, the old man looks tragic, friendless, and forlorn. At the consciousness level of 100, fear, we might see the bum as threatening, a social menace. Perhaps we should call the police before he commits some crime. At 125, desire, he might represent a frustrating problem. Why doesn't somebody do something? At 150, seeing through the lens of anger, the old man might look like he could be violent, or on the other hand, one could be furious that such horrible conditions exist in our country today. At 175, pride, he could be seen as an embarrassment or as lacking the self-respect to better himself. At 200, the level of courage, we might be motivated to wonder if there is a local homeless shelter. All he needs is a job and a place to live. At 250, neutrality, the bum looks okay, maybe even interesting. Quote, live and let live, we might say. After all, he's not hurting anyone. At 310, willingness, we might decide to go down and see what we can do to cheer up that fellow on the corner. Maybe he'd be motivated to volunteer sometime at the local shelter. At 350, acceptance, the man on the corner appears intriguing. He probably has an interesting story to tell. He's where he is for reasons we may never understand. At 400, reason, he's a symptom of the current economic and social malaise, or perhaps a good subject for in-depth psychological study. At the higher levels, the old man begins to look not only interesting, but friendly, and then lovable. Perhaps we'd then be able to see that he was, in fact, one who had transcended social limits and gone free. A joyful old guy with the wisdom of age in his face and the serenity that comes from indifference to material things. At 600, peace, he's revealed as our own self in a temporary expression. Wow. When approached, the bum's response to these different levels of consciousness would vary with them. With some, he'd feel secure. With others, frightened or dejected. Some would make him angry. Others would delight him. Some he'd avoid. Others he'd greet with pleasure. And so it's said that we meet what we mirror. So much for the manner in which our level of consciousness, that is, the world we encounter as passive observers, decides what we see. It's true that we'll react to things in a fashion predicated by the level that we perceive them from. That is to say, external events may define conditions, but they don't determine the consciousness level of human response. Boom. And so the idea is, again, to move up in these levels of awareness, expand our levels of perception so that we become more free, happy, and then we see the world and everything differently. A few chapters or pages later, he talks about one of these methods, a cultural popular spiritual program designed to facilitate such escape from the lower attractor fields to the higher attractor fields, is A Course in Miracles. The purpose of this course of spiritual psychology is to prepare the necessary groundwork to precipitate a sudden jump in consciousness through encouraging a total change of perception. Changing perception is the name of the game, taking on a higher vantage point. Jumping to Letting Go, one of his other masterpieces. I'm going to go through another series of changing or leveling up levels of consciousness, just to really reinforce this idea. So instead of us living our life seeing everything through our eyes, through our level of perception, and being really unaware of other perspectives, we stay stuck and limited at our one level of perception. So how does that work out for us long term? Okay, the relationship of consciousness to stress and disease in particular, he's talking about here. So the higher we are on the scale of consciousness, the less we respond with stressful reaction. We can take a simple incident from everyday life and illustrate the differences in reactivity. Let's say, for example, that we have parked our car, not a bum anymore, but a daily thing car drivers can experience. And just as we get out, the car parked in front of us backs up into our car with a thud. Our bumper and the front of the fender are dented. Here is what the different levels of consciousness might sound like. Shame. How embarrassing. I'm such a lousy driver. I can't even park a car. I'll never amount to anything. Guilt. I had it coming. How stupid I am. I should have done a better job of parking. Apathy. What's the use? Things like this always happen to me. I probably won't collect on the insurance anyway. There's no use talking to the guy. He'll just sue me. Life stinks. Grief. Now the car is ruined. It will never be the same. Life is grim. I will probably lose a bundle on this one. Fear. This guy is probably furious. I'm afraid he'll hit me. I'm afraid to talk back to him. He'll probably sue me. I'll probably never get the car fixed right again. Car repair people always rip me off. The insurance company will probably get out of this one, and I'll be the one left holding the bag. Desire. I can make a bundle on this one. I think I will hold my neck and fake a whiplash. My brother-in-law is a lawyer. We'll sue the pants off this idiot. I'll get the settlement on the highest estimate and get it fixed at a cheaper place. Anger. The damned idiot. I think I'll teach this guy a lesson. He deserves a good punch in the nose. I'll sue his pants off and make him suffer. My blood is boiling. I feel shaky with rage. I could kill the bastard. Seen through the level of pride. Look what you're doing, you fool. Oh God, the world is full of such bumbling idiots. How dare he damage my new car? Who the hell does he think he is? He's probably got cheap insurance. Thank God mine is the best. Now, crossing up the threshold of 200, this is now the level of empowerment, power, instead of these previous ones have all been at the lower level, below 200, at disempowerment. Courage. Oh well, We've both got insurance. I'll take down the data and handle it okay. A nuisance, but I can handle it. I'll talk to the driver and get it settled out of court. Neutrality. These things happen in life. You can't drive 20,000 miles a year without an occasional fender bender. Willingness. How can I help the guy calm down? He doesn't need to feel upset about it. We'll just exchange the necessary insurance information and be okay with each other. Acceptance. It could have been worse. At least nobody's hurt. It's only money anyway. The insurance company will take care of it. I suppose the guy's upset. That's only natural. Such things just can't be helped. Thank God I'm not running this universe. It's only a minor nuisance. Reason. Let's be practical here. I'd like to take care of it as quickly as possible so I can get on with the day's activities. What's the most efficient way to resolve our problem? Love. I hope the guy isn't upset. I'll calm him down. Says to the other driver, relax, it's all okay. We've both got insurance. I know how it is. It happened to me just the same way. It was a minor dent and we got it fixed in a day. Don't worry, we won't report it if you don't want to. We can probably deduct it and avoid a raise in the insurance premium. There's nothing to be upset about. Reassurance reassures the upset driver, putting an arm on his shoulder in fellow human camaraderie. Peace. Well, isn't that fortuitous? I was going to have the rattle in the bumper fixed anyway, and the fender already had a little dent, so now I'll get it fixed for nothing. Say, aren't you George's brother-in-law? You're just the guy I wanted to see. I have some great business that I think you can handle for me. We'll both benefit. You look like the right person to research it for us. How about a cup of coffee and we can talk over it? By the way, here's my insurance card. Say, that's the same company as yours. What a coincidence. Everything is working out for the best. No problem. Walks off humming with new friend. The incident already forgotten. So the above illustrates that we all have been what we have been saying. It is we ourselves who create stressful reactions as a consequence of what we are holding within us. The suppressed feelings determine our belief systems and our perception of ourselves and others. Read that again. The suppressed feelings, repressed emotions and feelings determine which one of these filters we look through. These in turn literally create events and incidents in the world, events that we then turn around and blame for our reactions. This is a self-reinforcing system of illusions. This is what the enlightened sages mean when they say, we are all living in an illusion. All that we experience are our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs projected out onto the world, actually causing what we see to happen. Most people have experienced all the different levels of consciousness at one time or another, in general. But we tend to operate primarily at one level or another for long periods of time. Most people are preoccupied with survival in all its subtle forms, and so they reflect primarily fear, anger, and a desire for gain. They have not learned that the state of lovingness is the most powerful of all survival tools. Moving up the levels of consciousness where we have access to more power, the higher attractor fields, higher frequencies, faster frequencies. Okay, well, it's only afternoon here, 4 o'clock, it's already getting dark. And in 2 months, it's gonna be already bright by this time. By 7 p.m. Anyhow, consciousness, peace. Take care. I hope that helped. Take on some new perspective, new angles. It's about expanding the levels or aspects of perception. Peace.